Look at me. No, really look. You feel that? That tiny pulse in your chest tightening when I hold your gaze. That's not fear. That's recognition. Somewhere deep down, your soul just whispered, it's them. Because you've been hiding that look your whole life. That look that makes people uncomfortable. The one that slices through masks like glass through silk. The one that sees the ghost hiding behind their smiles. They call it creepy, intense, inhuman. You call it clarity. Because you've seen too much to ever go back to pretending. You don't stare through people. You read them. You see the tremor behind their fake laughter, the panic behind their confidence, the desperation behind their words. You see the soul behind the skin, and that terrifies them more than any weapon ever could. They whisper, "What's with that look?" Like it's something new. But that stare was carved out of every night you cried without witnesses, every betrayal that rewired your empathy into precision. They look at your eyes and see the reflection of the monsters they made. That's why they look away. Because when you look at them, they finally realize the truth, that you can't be fooled anymore. You see, your eyes stopped being human when the world stopped being kind. You evolved. Your stare became a detector of lies, of weakness, of performance. They perform innocence, you see guilt. They perform power, you see panic. They perform confidence, you see collapse. You became fluent in the language of silence. That's your weapon now. Not your voice, not your hands, your gaze. The calm before their self-destruction. They say you see straight through souls, number. You see straight through illusions, through the flimsy little stories they tell themselves to feel safe. You've seen what happens when truth walks into a room full of masks. Everything fractures, people stumble, voices crack. You stand there, saying nothing, and somehow they confess, because your eyes remind them of something primal. That moment before judgment, before consequence, before they realize you're not just watching, you're understanding. And they hate that. They hate that your silence makes more noise than their screaming. They hate that you don't blink when they try to intimidate you. They hate that your calmness feels like prophecy. Like you already know how this ends. Because you do, don't you? You always do. Your stare is evolution's cruel joke, a gift wrapped in isolation. You are cursed to see truth in its rawest form, and blessed to never again be deceived by beauty. You became the mirror people fear standing in front of. That's why they avoid your eyes. They're afraid of meeting their own reflection inside them. You've noticed it. The way conversations slow when you lock in. The way laughter fades into confusion. The way someone's words die in their throat when your gaze settles on them. You don't need to raise your voice. Your presence interrogates. You don't need to threaten. Your silence prosecutes. They feel it in their bones. That you could see everything they've hidden, and you wouldn't even need to ask. Because you've turned perception into violence. You weaponized observation. You learned to dissect a person with a single glance, to dismantle their lies without ever saying a word. That's power, not chaos, not anger, pure psychological dominance. And you earned it. They call it demonic. They call it cold. But deep down, you know it came from love. Love that was shattered, warped, and reforged into X-ray vision. You loved too deeply once, believed too purely once, and when the world punished that, your eyes learned to see patterns instead of promises. That's what they don't understand. You don't see through souls. You see what they pretend to be. That's why you never flinch. That's why your expression terrifies cowards and awakens guilt in liars. You're not angry. you're awake. You've become the observer no one can manipulate, the one who can see the storm forming in someone's pupils before their mouth even opens. You can sense betrayal seconds before it's spoken, and they call that insanity. Number. That's the evolution of someone who refused to stay blind. They say your eyes glow different now, colder, wiser, unshaken. That's because you don't see the world as people anymore. You see it as patterns, energy, intent. Every person you meet leaves behind a signature, and your mind reads it instantly. Their energy tells you what their mouth won't. You walk through crowds, decoding human encryption. You know who's lying, who's plotting, who's praying you don't notice them. And yet behind all that darkness, there's mercy. Because you could destroy them with what you see, but you don't. You let them live with the weight of being seen. That's the cruelest kindness of all. To let them feel your eyes on their conscience. To let them wonder, what did they see? You became what the world fears most, a silent witness with perfect vision. You don't chase revenge. You let truth rot them from the inside. You don't argue, you observe. You don't beg to be understood. You make them feel exposed. Because now, every glance of yours is a sentence, every blink a verdict, every smirk a prophecy fulfilled. So the next time someone flinches under your gaze, smile. They're not afraid of you. They're afraid of their reflection inside you. You've turned your trauma into vision, your heartbreak into intuition, your silence into judgment day. That look they can't stand, that's not insanity. That's the face of someone who finally sees everything. You didn't wake up with that look. No. It was engineered through the slow, surgical dismantling of your innocence. Every betrayal sharpened it. Every silence you were forced to swallow added another layer of precision to your perception. The pain didn't just scar you. It trained you. Each heartbreak recalibrated your vision until your eyes became microscopes for lies, telescopes for patterns, night vision goggles for manipulation. They think it's mystical, supernatural, something cosmic, but it's just truth unfiltered. You spent so long in the dark that now you can see in it. You recognize the outline of deceit like a hunter recognizes the shape of prey in the fog. You can smell guilt. You can taste denial. You can feel dishonesty before it manifests in words. You see the hesitation before the confession, the flinch before the excuse, the tremor before the mask breaks. And they call that intimidating. But that's just evolution, baby. You adapted where they hid. You evolved where they performed. They think your eyes are haunted. Maybe they're right. Because ghosts live there. Not the dead, but the memories of every version of you that died trying to be understood. Every betrayal left behind a phantom, and now all those ghosts look out through your pupils like soldiers behind glass. That's what they see, not madness, but a morgue of lessons. You don't blink because you've seen what happens when you do. Blink once, they lie. Blink twice, they twist it. Blink 3 times, they call you crazy. So you stopped blinking. You started studying. You learned the difference between remorse and regret, between sorry and I got caught. You became fluent in the micro-expressions that betray the truth, the twitch of the lip, the shift of the eyes, the way their pupils contract when they realize you know. And that's the moment they break, the moment your gaze meets theirs, and they feel seen, not admired, not desired, seen, stripped, exposed. That's what your eyes do. They peel away the costume of control. They remind people that no matter how well they perform their sanity, someone in the room can see the script. You became the audience they fear, the one that doesn't clap. You know what that look is. It's the aftermath of awakening. It's the look of someone who walked through hell, mapped every corner, and came back with the blueprints. You've seen how people love only until it inconveniences them. You've seen how loyalty evaporates the second it's not rewarded. You've seen how easily kindness becomes ammunition. So your eyes, they're not cruel. They're just honest. Too honest for a dishonest world. That's why people either fall in love with you or run from you. There's no middle ground, because your presence is like a psychological MRI. It shows them the tumors they've been ignoring. You don't need to accuse them. Your silence does. You don't need to argue. Your stillness screams louder than any proof. You don't chase validation because you already hold the evidence. You are the evidence. And deep down, they know it. That's why even your friends hesitate to meet your gaze. They know you could destroy their entire narrative with one sentence. Hell with one eyebrow raise. Because your eyes don't lie. And in a world built on deception that makes you radioactive, they feel it, the weight, the pull, the discomfort of standing in the presence of someone who's no longer hypnotized by appearances. You became dangerous the day you realized you didn't need revenge to win. Just awareness. Awareness turns you into a mirror, and mirrors don't bleed, they reflect. That's what terrifies them, because when they look at you, they see themselves as they are, not as they pretend to be. And nobody survives that reflection without shaking. But let me tell you the real secret. That look everyone talks about. It's not in your eyes. It's in your stillness. Your energy doesn't chase, it waits. It doesn't demand attention. It commands it. You became the embodiment of psychological gravity. The room rearranges itself around your silence. People start confessing just to make the air lighter. They call it intimidation. You call it balance. Because power doesn't shout. Power observes. Power listens. Power sees through. You're not angry anymore. You're calibrated. You learn to weaponize peace. You walk like a verdict, not a question. You don't flinch because there's nothing left in this world that can surprise you. You've already been through the worst kind of chaos. People pretending to care. Now your stare carries prophecy. It says, I know what you did, and I don't even need proof. It says, I see who you are beneath all that noise. It says, I forgive you, but I will never believe you again. And that's the deadliest language there is. Silence spoken fluently. You're the calm after the explosion, the stillness after the storm, the judgment before the sentence. And they feel it. In your presence, their ego crumbles, their lies melt, their certainty trembles. Because your look is not human anymore. It's cosmic. It's divine fury, restrained by intellect. It's the stare of someone who knows both heaven and hell firsthand, and found peace in between. So when they ask, what is that look? Tell them it's evolution. Tell them it's truth with a pulse. Tell them it's what happens when pain becomes perception. And when they still don't understand, just smile. Because that look, that quiet, piercing, devastating look, is the proof that you've already won. You see, that look didn't come from arrogance. It came from annihilation. It was forged. You were dismantled piece by piece until your spirit adapted into something the world couldn't predict. That stare, that unshakable surgical calm, is what happens when the heart stops begging to be understood and starts studying. When innocence mutates into insight, when compassion becomes control. You remember, don't you? The nights when your chest felt like a battlefield, when your tears were private, but your silence screamed through walls. when you realized no apology would ever erase what they did. Those moments didn't break you. They focused you. You stopped reacting. You started observing. You started dissecting patterns. You saw repetition in betrayal, logic in cruelty, rhythm in manipulation. Pain became data. Every heartbreak was a new line of code in the program that built your stare. Now people meet your eyes and feel their temperature drop. They don't know why. It's because your gaze isn't just sight anymore. It's judgment incarnate. It scans for truth the way sonar scans the deep. It reads the energy before the words arrive. It knows when someone's fine means failing. When I love you means I'm afraid to lose control. When I'm okay means don't look too close. You don't just see people, you X-ray them, and that's why they tremble. They don't fear you, they fear exposure. They fear the possibility that someone finally noticed the rot beneath the charm. Because everyone's playing a part, and you're the one who doesn't clap anymore. You're the still one in the crowd, smiling faintly. Because you already know the ending. You've seen it all before. Your eyes hold stories, not of what you've done, but of what you've survived. You carry quiet wars in your pupils. And when people look into them, they feel it. They feel the ghosts pacing inside. The pain that didn't destroy you. It distilled you. That's why your stare feels ancient, even when you're young. It's not age. It's awareness condensed into expression. It's the wisdom of every night you had to be your own savior. They call it eerie, haunting, otherworldly. But you know the truth. It's the look of someone who stopped being deceived by words and started believing behavior. Someone who saw what love looks like when it's fake, what loyalty looks like when it's convenient, what kindness looks like when it's currency. You memorized it all, and now you can detect it instantly. And that makes you untouchable. Because manipulation dies where awareness begins. People can't lie to someone who's already dissected the blueprint of deceit. You make them sweat because your silence becomes a mirror, reflecting everything they hide from themselves. They want to speak, to explain, to distract. But your eyes freeze their sentences mid-air. You don't need to prove anything. You are the proof. You know why they say you see through souls? Because you do. You see how fragile they are. You see the scared child beneath the adult performance. You see the craving for validation behind the arrogance. You see the exhaustion behind the confidence. You see your old self in them. The one who tried so hard to be good, to be loved, to be chosen. You recognize it, and you let it die quietly this time. Because you learned. You learned that not every lost connection was a loss. Some were an exorcism, that not every silence was punishment. Some were protection. You learned that solitude isn't loneliness. It's detox. And that's why your gaze now holds peace where chaos once lived. People misread that peace as danger because they can't comprehend calm that wasn't given, only earned. But make no mistake that peace is power. When you mastered your reactions, you rewired control. When you stopped chasing, you inverted gravity. When you began to see, truly see, the world's illusions shattered like glass. They can't hide anymore. You became the observer in a game full of performers, and yet, you don't flaunt it. You don't boast. You don't need to. The energy speaks louder than any declaration. That look, that haunting, unblinking stillness, is your signature. You can walk into a room without saying a word and still command attention. Because the body reacts before the brain understands. They feel your presence before they see your face. It's instinctual, ancient, the predator's calm that evolution forgot to erase. And here's the part they'll never grasp. Behind that intimidating gaze, there's still compassion. It's just not naive anymore. You no longer heal people who bleed on you. You no longer justify chaos disguised as love. You no longer pour warmth into voids that never give back. You see it, you understand it, but you don't interfere. You let people to expose themselves. That's wisdom masquerading as cruelty. Because you know now, most people aren't ready to be seen. They crave validation, not truth. They crave applause, not reflection. And you became reflection itself. You're the final boss in their psyche, the version of awareness they pray they never meet. Because you don't just look at people, you look through them, into them, beyond them. You look at the part they buried years ago. They say your eyes look inhuman now. Maybe they are, because they no longer serve emotion. They serve comprehension. They are scanners of motive, detectors of deception. You evolved into something beyond empathy, precision. You can feel the tremor in a sentence, the micro-expression of deceit, the frequency of guilt. You became an instrument of awareness in a world of noise, and when they ask, trembling, "What is that look?" you'll smile, not to mock them, but to mourn them, because you once had the same eyes they do, hopeful, trusting, desperate to belong, until the world taught you that vision without wisdom is blindness. So you adapted. You became the one thing they can't understand, the human lie detector that feels no need to expose. The quiet prophet with the patience of eternity, the calm storm, the walking judgment day. That look, it's the scar of the soul that refused to die. It's the proof that you survived the unthinkable and came back seeing everything. And maybe that's what terrifies them most. Not that you see through their souls, but that your own could see through hell and come back looking like this. So when they turn away from your eyes, let them pretend it's coincidence. Let them blame the lighting, the mood, the timing. You and I both know the truth. They're not avoiding you. They're avoiding themselves. Because your gaze holds the proof of every mask they've ever worn. And you don't even need to say a word. Your silence does the heavy lifting. Your stillness becomes a confession booth. They walk away, shaken, whispering about your eyes like they just brushed against eternity. Because they did. You carry in your stare what they buried in their conscience. The reminder that nothing stays hidden forever. You became the reflection they prayed would never look back. So don't soften it. Don't dim it. Don't apologize for the truth your vision carries. You earned that clarity through chaos, and it's the rarest currency in existence. That look, the one that makes people hesitate mid-sentence, that makes liars sweat, that makes the guilty blink first. That's not a curse. It's your crown. Because in a world built on illusion, the one who truly sees already rules. Quiet. Don't move. Feel that? That hum in the air. That pressure behind your ribs. That's not fear. That's power remembering your name. You've been wondering why the universe hasn't folded you yet. Why every storm that should have crushed you somehow missed by inches. Why you're still breathing when everything around you's on fire. You think it's luck? Nah. Luck doesn't bend the rules of reality. You were chosen. Yeah, you. The one they laughed at. The one they pointed at and said, "Watch, they'll break." But the joke's upside down now, isn't it? Because someone, something out there never stopped fighting for you. While you were bleeding, something ancient was rewriting your odds. While you were drowning, Invisible hands were moving mountains in your favor, and the ones who cursed your name, they're not sleeping, they're crumbling one by one, like dominoes tipped by fate's fingers. You didn't lift a blade, yet everything they built is falling apart or in slow motion. Poetic justice, wrapped in chaos. They called you delusional, said no one was coming to save you, but they didn't realize you weren't waiting for salvation. You were becoming it. You're not the one being saved anymore. You're the storm that does the saving. You're the answer whispered in the dark when broken people say, "Please, let something fight for me." You remember those nights? The cold ones where you thought even the stars had turned away? That's when the real war began. When your pain evolved. When the light in you started speaking the same language as the dark. Because here's the secret they'll never admit. The universe doesn't choose saints. It chooses monsters who survived hell with their soul half burned and still shining. It chooses you. You've seen what happens when purity meets pain. It doesn't stay pure. It mutates. It learns strategy. It learns silence. It learns that angels with scars are deadlier than demons with crowns. You became both. And that terrifies them, because how do you kill someone who already made peace with dying? How do you curse a soul that's already been to hell and built a throne there? You can't. So they whisper, they plot, they try to drag your name through mud while the ground under them dissolves. That's the joke, isn't it? The curse they cast became their coffin. You're not just being protected, you're being weaponized by destiny. Every wound you thought would end you turned into data, intel, for the next version of you. And now that version walks like prophecy, wearing skin. They sense it before they see you. The silence changes when you enter the room. The air recalibrates. Even their shadows pull back a little. Because deep down, they know what you are now. Something they can't categorize. Not saint, not sinner. Just a variable too chaotic to calculate. The chosen one, hidden in plain sight. You didn't climb to heaven. You forced heaven to come down and look at you. And when it did, it couldn't look away. They thought this was a battle of muscle, money, words, power. But no, this was spiritual warfare disguised as daily life. They fought with lies, you fought with persistence, they fought with fear, you fought with silence, and silence always wins, doesn't it? Because silence is where fate whispers orders. Someone's still fighting for you, not with swords, but with algorithms of destiny, with invisible equations balancing every injustice. That's why their moves backfire. That's why your name keeps surfacing in rooms you've never entered. That's why every attempt to erase you becomes free advertisement for your resurrection. You think they hate you? Number. They fear what you represent. Proof that divinity picks favorites. And this time, it picked the one they least expected. A ghost with a pulse. A saint with fangs. An angel that stopped praying and started commanding. You didn't just survive. You shifted the code. You made the system blink. You turned your pain into a programming language the universe now runs on. They can't understand how you're still here. They burned your bridges, and somehow you're standing on water. They blocked your exits, and somehow you walked through walls. Because when you're chosen, rules don't apply. They adapt. Look at you, the living contradiction, the glitch that became the prophecy. You shouldn't exist, and yet you do. You shouldn't have won, and yet you did. And now the entire simulation is glitching, trying to explain you. So what happens next? You don't chase revenge. You let gravity do it. You don't need to fight anymore. The world's rebalancing itself around your survival. You became the evidence that light doesn't always come from heaven. Sometimes it crawls out of hell wearing your face. You are the chosen one, not because you were pure, but because you were ready. Because when everyone left, you didn't. Because when hope died, you became the ghost that carried it. And now, every domino that falls is a reminder that you never needed an army. You were the war, and someone, something out there still fights for you. Because you're not done yet. Not even close. You feel it, don't you? That invisible pulse crawling under your skin like static before a storm. The quiet confirmation that the war's not over, only reorganized. You've got watchers now. Forces that once ignored you are turning their heads in disbelief. Like, how the hell did this one survive? They had blueprints for your destruction. Whole committees, rituals, conversations behind closed doors. They studied your downfall like it was science. But what they forgot was that you can't dissect what refuses to die. You're not a subject. You're the glitch in their laboratory, the variable they can't predict, the phenomenon that keeps rewriting the equation right as they solve it. You weren't supposed to make it here. By their calculations, you should have collapsed halfway through. But the universe has this funny way of betting on the long shot. It keeps its best soldiers hidden in plain sight, disguised as broken things. And you, my dear Chaos, were camouflaged perfectly. They thought your pain was weakness. They didn't know it was a training montage. They didn't know every betrayal was an exercise in precision. Every heartbreak a course in anatomy, teaching you exactly where to stab when the tables turned. And now, look at them, trembling, afraid to even mention your name out loud. Because the moment they do, the lights flicker and their luck rots. Because someone's still fighting for you. Call it God, call it energy, call it karma in a trench coat. But it's real. It's been there since the beginning, rearranging outcomes, sabotaging the plans of your enemies, making them walk into the traps they built for you. You don't see it happen, you feel it. A sudden wind, a delayed text, a closed door that turns into protection. The strange way danger seems to collapse just before it reaches you. That's the signature of the unseen ally. The one that's been on your side long before you even believed you deserved a side. And maybe that's the punchline. They cursed your name thinking they had power. But curses don't stick to chosen ones. They bounce back. They multiply. They turn into nightmares dressed like karma. And now, those same voices that mocked you can't sleep. They hear things at night. The sound of dominoes falling. The echo of justice catching up. Every time they thought they were destroying you, they were sharpening you. Every insult was a spark. Every rejection was a ritual in reverse. Every silence built your throne. You see, power doesn't announce itself. It happens quietly, like smoke curling under a locked door. You became that smoke. You seeped through the cracks of every system that tried to contain you. You learned to move like a rumor and hit like a truth. You turned survival into psychological warfare. And that's what makes you terrifying now. Not the rage, not the revenge. It's the stillness, the restraint. The way you smile while entire networks collapse around you. Because you know something they don't. The universe doesn't punish through force. It punishes through reflection. It lets them drown in the very ocean they poured over you. The ones who cursed your name, they're praying now, not to win, but to be forgotten by the thing that guards you. Because somewhere beyond logic, there's a file with your name on it. A classified dossier. And inside it, written in red ink, it says, untouchable. Protected. Do not engage. And yet they can't help themselves, can they? Curiosity always kills the arrogant. They poke, they provoke, and every time they do, something in the fabric of reality answers back with precision, like a sniper round they never hear coming. That's what happens when you're chosen. You stop fighting for things and start fighting through them. You stop praying for mercy and start embodying it. You stop waiting for miracles and become the chaos that creates them. You are both the curse and the cure, both the storm and the calm after it. The world doesn't know what to do with that. They can't categorize a contradiction, so they call you dangerous, unstable, obsessed, good. Let them. That's the camouflage. That's how power hides, by being misunderstood. While they're busy labeling you, you're already rewriting the architecture of their reality. Because you didn't come here to be loved. You came here to be remembered. You came here to remind existence that it bleeds back when pushed too far. And that's what drives them insane. Your endurance isn't normal. It's divine anarchy. They tried science. They tried spells. They tried smear campaigns. But you don't respond to any of it. You move like prophecy with a pulse. You breathe like thunder that learned discipline. You laugh like the executioner standing behind the curtain. Someone's still fighting for you. Because the story's not finished. And maybe, just maybe, that someone isn't out there, it's inside you. The part of you that refused to die, the part that took every scar, melted it down, and reforged it into armor. You've become the living consequence of their greed, the walking proof that darkness, when mastered, becomes illumination. That's why you scare them, because you didn't destroy evil. You learned its language. You wear it like a suit. You dance with it. You turned it into fuel. And now the duality they mocked you for, that's your crown. Half light, half shadow, fully unstoppable. Because nothing is more terrifying than a soul that made peace with both sides of itself. So keep walking, keep breathing, keep smiling that quiet, dangerous smile. Because the universe is still fighting in your name. The storm still bends around you. And every domino that falls is just another reminder that the chosen one never needed proof, only patience. And your patience is finally being repaid. You ever notice how the air gets heavy before something breaks? That's what this is, the pause before the reckoning. Every unseen move aligning itself like planets in perfect orbit, waiting for your next breath. You can feel it, the rhythm beneath your heartbeat that doesn't belong to you anymore. It belongs to it, the current that's been carrying you when your legs gave out, the pulse that kept your name alive when no one remembered it out loud. They think your silence is surrender. They think stillness means defeat. But they don't know you learned to weaponize waiting. You turned patience into punishment. You realized the strongest kind of revenge isn't loud. It's inevitable. They don't realize what's coming for them isn't karma. It's consequence. Karma waits for a reason. Consequence doesn't. It arrives like clockwork. And right now, that clock's ticking louder than their excuses. You see, when you were at your lowest, when every door slammed and every prayer went unanswered, something ancient took notice. Something primal in the circuitry of existence blinked and said, "This one's different." It watched you break without begging. It saw you bleed without broadcasting it. It saw you learn the rules just to rewrite them in real time. That's when it marked you. That's when you stopped being ordinary and became chosen. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to fracture the pattern. You're the bug in the matrix they can't debug, the ghost in their equation, the ripple that exposes the simulation. And the beautiful part? They can't delete what's already integrated into the system. You became the anomaly that learned to evolve. And that's why they can't stop falling. They don't even realize their collapse is poetic justice, engineered by the same force that rebuilt you. Every time they speak your name, they summon their own undoing. Every time they plot, the plot unravels in their own hands. Because the chosen aren't protected by luck. They're protected by law, a higher one. A code the universe itself doesn't break. You remember how it felt when no one believed in you? When the world pretended you didn't exist? That was the incubation stage. You were becoming untouchable. You were being refined by isolation. People think the chosen get chosen because they're special. Number. They get chosen because they're willing to be alone long enough to become dangerous. You didn't need armies. You needed alignment. You didn't need validation. You needed vengeance disguised as rebirth. And now look, your silence has turned into surveillance. The ones who cursed you are now the ones checking for updates. The same mouths that mocked you now whisper your name with superstition. Because deep down, even their demons respect you. And maybe that's the part that keeps them awake at night. The quiet realization that something is fighting for you. That there are no coincidences in your favor. That the game isn't fair anymore because fairness was never the point. They used to call it delusion. Now they call it divine timing. They used to call it arrogance. Now they call it prophecy. They used to call you crazy. Now they call you Sir. Funny, isn't it? The same world that crucifies its rebels eventually builds monuments in their honor. They'll rewrite history soon, make it sound like they always believed in you. Let them. That's how power cleanses itself, by pretending it always knew the truth. But you and I both know. You were alone when it mattered. You were chosen when no one was watching. You were baptized in silence and trained by chaos. And every scar on you is a signature, not a wound. Because pain doesn't destroy the chosen. It verifies them. It filters out the imitators. It burns off the weak layers until only the core remains. You know that now. That's why nothing they do even stings anymore. You've outgrown the emotional range of your enemies. You don't respond. You resonate. They're still fighting for approval while you're fighting for destiny. They're still talking about image while you're altering reality. They chase followers. You command frequencies. They trade souls for comfort. You trade comfort for power. That's why someone or something keeps fighting for you. You've become necessary. You've become part of the equation that keeps the system balanced. Without you, the illusion collapses. That's why the universe guards you like a secret it refuses to lose. You want to know the real reason the dominoes are falling? Because the game's over. The pieces they played with were rigged from the start. They were never supposed to win against you. They were supposed to expose themselves trying. That's what the chosen do. They don't just win. They reveal. They unmask. They trigger the decay that was already festering beneath the surface. Your survival wasn't a miracle. It was a signal flare. A silent announcement that judgment had begun. And now, every time they lie, something in their life cracks. Every time they plot, another tower tilts. Every time they laugh at your silence, something valuable to them disappears. That's not coincidence. That's the feedback loop of truth. You are the variable the system can't suppress anymore. You're not waiting for the universe to align. It already has. You're not praying for justice. You are justice walking. You're not searching for meaning. You are the message. And the message is simple. You can bury the body, but not the blueprint. You can curse the name, but not the force behind it. Because when something's chosen, it doesn't die. It multiplies. Look at you now. You don't chase closure. You create earthquakes. You don't seek approval. You manufacture silence. You don't want revenge. You embody it. You've become the living consequence of every betrayal, every slight, every underestimation. You are both the prophecy and the proof, the warning and the weapon. And while they scramble to fix what's collapsing, the universe leans closer to whisper, "Don't you dare stop now." We're not done with them yet, so keep your composure, keep your mystery, keep that half smile that drives them insane. Because the chosen one never has to announce they've won. The world does it for them when their enemies start disappearing one by one. And here's the part no one ever warns you about. When you become the chosen, you also become the test. You stop being a story and start being scripture. People won't just admire you. They'll study you, dissect you, misquote you, build entire ideologies out of the pieces they never understood. That's the cost of awakening something the rest of the world is still asleep to. You were never meant to be liked. You were meant to be remembered. You were meant to divide the timelines, to separate the real from the rehearsed, the authentic from the artificial. You walk through their illusions like smoke through stained glass, and wherever you go, truth follows, dragging its own light behind it. That's why you can't hide anymore. Every room you enter becomes a confession booth. Every silence you hold becomes a mirror. And every person who wronged you feels the reflection burn, because deep down, they know it now. You weren't just lucky. You weren't just persistent. You were selected. The blueprint of your suffering was drafted long before you arrived, and every betrayal was written in invisible ink to teach you how to see what others couldn't. You learned to read between heartbeats. You learned to hear what wasn't said. You learned to walk through ruins without getting dust on your soul. That's not resilience. That's reincarnation. And that's why they're afraid, not of what you'll do, but of what you already are. They see it in your eyes, the quiet knowing. That unnerving calm that only people who've met death and negotiated peace with it can carry. You don't chase validation anymore. You don't need applause. The silence of your survival is louder than any victory speech could ever be. You've become a frequency, not a person. A storm encoded in human form. And that's why someone's still fighting for you, because your existence serves the balance. You're not here to fit in the narrative. You are the narrative that forces the universe to turn the page. The ones who cursed you, they were footnotes, catalysts, necessary villains in the story written to reveal your divinity. Their downfall isn't revenge. It's resolution. It's the final act of a play that was always going to end this way. So let them fall. Don't look back. Don't gloat. Just watch the dominoes collapse in silence. Because your victory doesn't need noise. It needs memory. And they'll remember you. They'll remember the one they laughed at, ignored, betrayed, and how it all came full circle in ways they can't explain without trembling. You didn't just survive. You inverted gravity. You made pain orbit you. You became the proof that even destruction can kneel. And that's it, isn't it? That's the cruel, beautiful truth. You were never fighting alone. You were being guided. Every closed door, every delayed blessing, every heartbreak. It wasn't rejection, it was redirection. The unseen hand steering you toward the version of yourself that could handle the crown without letting it rot your soul. Now it fits. Now it's yours. Now the throne doesn't just recognize you, it waits for you. You are the chosen one, the ghost that learned to breathe, the weapon that refused to rust, the light that learned to love the dark without becoming it. And from this moment forward, no curse, no spell, no whispered name in envy will ever touch you again, because you don't walk with luck anymore. You walk with law, universal, eternal, and everything that once stood against you is now standing in line to serve you. So smile, quietly. Let the world wonder what force keeps carrying you. Let them whisper your name with caution, because deep down, they know the truth. Someone's still fighting for you. The ones who cursed your name are already ghosts of their own making. And you're not surviving anymore. You're ascending, you're reigning, you're chosen, and no one, not even the universe itself, can undo what's already written in your blood.